Queen Anne's reign is over. We even got a crown jewel. That Gator's a crazy gal, but so is the gal who promised to look after her. They said Queen Anne was just a folktale. Now there's living proof she ain't. He's a spitting image of Slinger Jawson with that pike and them pistols. To fix a brusher's pike, you just need a good length of knife bark. Single shard, but you know what? It was worth it. Just the occasion to crack open the distillery's private reserve. Black rye's like hot pineapple chowder on a cold day. Brings back memories. The next shard should be farther out there in the wilds. Know how Caelondia became the richest city in the world? 2 words. Point Lemaine. If the wilds could ever be tamed, it was gonna happen right here. But now, the greatest outpost past the city line is nothing but a freak show. The Army's triggers once had the place on lockdown. Kid might as well pick up where they left off. Blam! Just like my fighting days. A gun like that can even put the wilds in check. Point Lemaine seen better days for sure, but it ain't done. shudders in a fit. The Grand Rail of Point Lemaine. Not only is it still there, it still works. Of course, it's no longer shipping hides and alloys and spices, but it can give the kid a lift. Just as long as he can stay clear of the trouble on the tracks. Grand Rail's all grown over with things the Calamity chewed up and spat out. Things eager to take back their turf. Settled in like they own the place. Fancy footwork on the rail, what with wallflowers coughing fungus everywhere. The place used to be closed off, but now it's split open like a rotten pineapple. Of course, the Grand Rail's seen much more fighting in bygone times. Near on 50 years ago, first shots fired in the Ura-Ceylonian War. It was right here that Zolf's Ura forefathers decided to mix it up. Okay, so maybe we didn't get their sign-off on the whole Grand Rail thing. That was bad. Not much wiggle room up there near the rail. The rail must have shook the earth to the bone down in those dens of theirs. Well, the rail won't last much longer now that the kid took the shard. It's still got one good run in store. All the rotten wood there on the rails turned it into swamp weed central. Ever tried dancing side to side while holding your breath? While choking on swamp weed? While peckers trying to prick you in the eye? Well, let me tell you, it ain't fun. It's the end of the line. He'll be picking swamp weed out of those boots for days. Turns out he's got company up at the rail station, waiting for him. Not just another wallflower or pincushion, mind you. At first, he thinks it's Zulf. Turns out he's wrong. This is for you, says the man. Then wham! When the kid comes to, the man's long gone, but something else is there. The only words Kid recognizes on that parchment are for Zia. Well, what's a kid to do? He took the shard, he took the hit, and he took that note. That note cuts straight to the heart of things, don't it? Finding gourmet ingredients ain't easy these days, but we'll take what we can get. The note says it plain. Zia, go east to learn the truth about the calamity and our people. I'll be waiting. Sincerely, Zulf. Zulf's messenger was one of his people. Wondered just how many of them survived, and what exactly Zulf told him. Well, she's cute now. Just you wait. It ain't too late to unlock the potential of this place. Kid arrives just in time to sample Zia's famous cooking. Ain't saying much, but that's the greatest forge in all the city. He wolfs down too much too fast, and it all goes to his head. I've said a lot about the kid, but he ain't the only one wrapped up in all this. What's he thinking? Let me see if I got this straight. I only heard it once. There was a normal Ura girl, but she wasn't born in the Tassel terminals like the rest of her people. She was from Ceylondia. Her folks were orphaned in the war, taken in and raised inside the city, on condition they would never return to the terminals. Ura refugees who came into the city had to stay for life. It was a way to reduce the risk of city secrets leaking out. Mama passed away from birthing complications, leaving the girl trapped inside that city with no one but her father. Father was sharper than a brusher's pike, so he got a job working for the city's mancers. His daughter barely saw him. Her father told her nothing of her Ura heritage. He told her nothing of the mancers. It's for your own good, he said. She took to studying the arts, learned more through music than history books, gained a knack for strings and songs. At first, she tried to be like other girls, but her classmates spread word that her father was an Ura trader, selling out the city. One young man stood up for her, or so he led her to believe. He knew much of her heritage, and she grew fond of him. her to take him to her family den to meet her father. Spoke of how he wanted to meet a man from the terminals. When the young man greeted her father in the Ura's native language, her father flew into a fit of rage and threw them out. The young man never told her that the Ura's native language is not to be used by foreigners. To do so is a terrible insult. It was then that she decided to escape. The two of them could flee the city together and go to the Tassel terminals. They would hide inside a garbage bin until it got ingested by a scumbag, then let him slosh on out of the city for disposal. Succeeded, but the authorities were already there when that scumbag sidled up to the city walls. The young man had sent the authorities a tip. Told him her father was using her to sell secrets to the Tassel terminals.
Gonna build that city on a hill.
She and her father were arrested for treason, but her father got a deal. Returned to work for the Mansers, and she'd go free.
Someday those tears are gonna spill. So big that wall and build it strong, 'cause we'll be there before two.
Before they parted ways for the last time, her father whispered a desperate plea. Hurry home to the den and lock yourself in.
Build that wall to the sky.
Now, where were we? she was told, and deep down underground inside that den, she found a journal written in her father's hand.
Gonna build that city on a hill. Gonna build that city on a hill. Someday those tears are gone.
The next day, the door to the den turned to ash. The girl came up for air, and she saw the calamity all around her. When the kid wakes up, his world's still in pieces, just the way he left it. Oh, his manners ain't so bad. War machetes are so quick, you gotta keep a good grip on them. Points just don't get any sharper than that. The shards are getting harder to find. Windbag Ranch was built for gathering squirt extract in copious supply. Ain't nothing more healthful. Some folks showed up to make a fast buck with nothing but a knife. Slippery little devils. Still others use the place to test their finest blades. place gets awful slick sometimes. Kid cuts all of them down soon enough. Kid comes back from Windbag Ranch, smelling good and ripe. Not everything blew up in the calamity. Why, Colford Cauldron here blew up way ahead of its time. Cauldron boiled over some 300 years ago. They say it filled the skies with ash and the lakes with molten rock. If you wanted to survive something like that, you had to learn to adapt. So in a way, the beasts of the wilds, they're all survivors too. It takes a certain stubborn pride to keep on living in a place like this. As for us, we learned an awful lot from Colford Cauldron. That learning led to some interesting inventions. The raw power of the world fell right into our hands. Playing with the cauldron's fires became an addiction. sure we dusted off a good many secrets out here. But we discovered other things we're better off not knowing. The unforgiving scent of sulfurous dirt. The taste of air so hot it sticks to your lungs. All sorts of awful things crawling underfoot. You can cook those things, but you can't eat them. Never thought we'd find so much life in all that ash. The more ash we swept aside, the more life we found. Kept on sifting through the cauldron's secrets anyway. Place is inhospitable as they come. But still we pressed on. After all, when we looked down inside Colford Cauldron, looked down through all the smoke and flames. We saw in there the heart of the world, the heart now laid bare by the calamity. We had to have it. As for the kid, he just has to get that shard out of there. Too bad taking that thing woke up every last stink eye from here to Charleston Bog. Kid's thinking he's got to trek all the way back around the cauldron. shortcut for him. Sure, it ain't the most convenient path. Biggest stink eye he's ever seen's waiting for him on the other side. Well, it ain't polite to stare. And where there's one stink eye, there's always more. Cauldron's tenants all gather up to bid the kid and fond farewell. Kid don't shed any tears for him though. With a good spyglass, you can still see the cauldron from the city. But all the fires died out. There's nothing left of it. He comes back looking like the inside of a chimney. The shard works like a charm. You can hear the monument's heartbeat again. We're all a little short on friends these days, so that's a welcome sight. They said the wild could never be tamed. If only they could see us now. Wouldn't have thought to bring a bellows to a shootout, but it just might work. At least it won't get cold around here with that thing around. Awful big lost and found under the circumstances. Spotted a pecker carrying a shard to Mount Zan. Welcome to Grady Incinerator, home of the hottest wings east of Caelandia. In all seriousness, the incinerator was a dump, and it had a problem with peckers. Blasted things would swoop in and spread trash all around until we started catching fire. We couldn't just torch them all at once. We had to use restraint. Wasn't any other way to teach those peckers some respect. Who knows why we fought so hard to defend our own trash? On the inside, a fire bellows ain't nothing like its more popular air-spitting cousin. The culture, the still life of old unwanted keepsakes. The gravers, the arm of justice. They seemed unstoppable. That ought to give those dueling pistols a little extra kick. Can't rightly call Mount Zand a mountain anymore. There's no more mountains now. There's no place left for the beasts of the wild to go. So they figure they'll hold out right here, on a slab of mountain the Calamity forgot. Good thing for those beasts the Calamity saved leftovers. We only found their little lair because they found themselves a little shard. Those beasts been hoarding all the valuables they could find. The creatures of the wild, they've been building a bastion of their own. But they ain't yet prepared for any company. They even dragged their children into this. Best thing we can do for those beasts right now is put them down quick and clean. There's only one kind of mercy left these days. What the city left behind, those beasts took themselves. talking. Look at it this way. It's either them or us. But if we win, they win too. Our Bastion is everybody's game, not just ours. Unfortunately, there's no explaining that to a simple beast. Those beasts been hard at work fixing up the place. They've been searching for cores and shards, just like we have. They've rounded up their survivors, just like we have. Maybe they've thought about turning back, just like we have. We just really need their shard. Kid got it fair and square. You don't need to keep tangling with all those things. That's the way. He's done what's best for him, don't you worry. Don't you worry. We'll all be better off once the Bastion is complete. Fixed that thing right up, didn't we? Made these goings-on a little livelier. The monument's getting better. Zolf sure did a number on it, though. The memorial may be finished, but our part is far from over. The conscience. We haven't lost everything, as long as we have that. Suppose it's true a little song can put things in perspective. Well, if you can't burn it, you can always blow it to Mother on high, right? That mortar's gonna leave a lasting impression. Without an insulated air intake, that thing's liable to blow up on you. Just a couple shards left. The quarry's gotta have one, right? Imagine everything you'd need to build a city like Zealandia. It takes hard work and planning, and it also takes Bastion quarry. The Ura tunnels beneath the quarry must have softened the blow of the calamity. We bought the whole place from the Ura on the cheap. Same goes for its natives, rattletails. Why would the Ura put up with those pests? Rattletails ain't the worst of it either, but more about that in a little bit. The quarry came with a lifetime supply of windbags. Windbags smaller than the naked eye can see are nested in those rocks. But there was even more to it than that. Not only are these rocks a source of life, we found that the oldest ones remember things. They're recording everything, all the time, taking it all in. The quarry ain't exactly up to safety standards no more. All those beasts were drawn to the quarry. The rocks were calling them. Keeping the quarry free from pests turned out to be a problem. Rattletails kept tunneling in to snack on windbags. Without those windbags, the quarry might not have its special qualities. Windbags tended to the rocks, so we had to keep the rattletails at bay. Now, why would the Ura sell off such a fascinating place? The Ura always were a superstitious lot. It might be the gods told them the quarry's bad news. You know the Ura hated anything above ground. In any case, it's fair to say the quarry was a godsend. Those rocks, all polished to a mirror sheen. The largest ones, you know as cores. A single core could keep the lights on in an entire city district. smaller ones, we call them shards. Shards got a fraction of the core's power, enough to fuel a voyage to the motherland. Well, now the quarry's all dried up. These rocks are much too young to be of use. Remember how I said rattletails ain't the worst thing in the quarry? That honor goes to a beast we took to Colin, Sir Lunky. Massive thing stomped many of our boys. We just couldn't get rid of him. Get stubborn old Lunky to leave the quarry alone. Then the kid hears a voice calling from down the hall. "Are you all right?" it says. It's him. "I've come to warn you," he says. "The Bastion is under siege. Let it fall. You should not go back." Kid hears him, but he ain't about to be deterred. "If that's the way it is," he says, "then I won't stop you. Because my countrymen will." Say what you will about Zulf, but he's a man of his word. His countrymen don't much care for pleasantries, though. Zulf showed him the way here, and here they came to take revenge. They got inside the Bastion and shut the door. Kid's gotta go in through the back. I should have told him sooner about all this. To make matters worse, seems the Ura took the girl. Unfortunately, they broke in and they started digging their hole. Something wrong sprung out of those holes, and it's eating away at this place. We tried to stop him, but we needed him. Our baby pecker, he don't make it. No way out of this, not without a fight. And our little squirt, he don't make it. Somehow, some way, he sends those Ura packing. Problem is, it didn't matter. Zulf's plan worked. We find each other as the dust settles. Then I tell him why the Ura came. To get us back. For the calamity. It was Caelondia's master plan to wipe the Ura out. But part of that plan backfired, didn't it? If only Zulf knew the whole story. What were we to think? They must have got her, taken her back to her rightful home. The shards can put this disease in remission, but there's only one cure. We need to finish what we started. We ain't much for pleasantries. The Mercy, the windbags ain't the only beast that drew a bad lot. The cinders kept the city good and warm. Made it thrive. Its riches nothing but fragments now. Taught him an old trick from a galleon gunner I once knew. Bastion ain't gonna build itself. Well, not entirely. Seems the gods recommended this place to all their friends. Now all we need is one last shard. The sanctuary. If we can build, we can rebuild. A solid frame can put an extra sting in every slice. Now that's what I call a knife. That's the way to make every shot count. Don't want that thing leaving your hands until you decide it's time. You never guess those things been to the wilds and back. The marshals learned to pack those shells full of fire. The Ura swooped down from the east. At least now we know the way. Always time for juice and squirts, they used to say. At least the little fellas can't feel a thing. Some squirts tried to flee on instinct. Best to put them away first, before they rile up the others. The city's unwanted things all met their end in the yard. Folks who fouled up would do their time here, smashing things to bits. The quicker they worked, the sooner they could go. Folks learned to plant their feet and put their backs into it. Others would plot a course to navigate that sea of junk. A good day's smashing can feed a family for a week. Working the yard did have its risks. Ever want to just smash things for a while? You know where to go. A sail hammer's only as strong as its spine. And that's a strong spine. His bow's looking lean and mean like a prize fighter. The inspiration, a forge can fashion anything. One last shard. It's all we need to put this mess behind us. And mother, what a mess it is. A mess like that could have only been made by hand. Zolf said the calamity failed, and he's right. The Ura stand is living proof of that. At the heart of the calamity was a simple idea. We never wanted to go to war again. Wanted to rule it out. force against that problem. Scientists, soldiers, spies, even me. We sought solutions far beyond the city. We traveled near as far as the kids going right now. Most of our efforts didn't bear fruit. Then there was a breakthrough, but it didn't come from without me. Came from an a brilliant young scientist named Ven. Ven worked for the Mancers, the sharpest knives in the city's drawer. With his help, the Mancers devised a way to seal the tunnels shut in a flash. Just like that, every last living in the Tassel terminals will be gone. This discovery was never to be used, they said, except as a last resort. But Ven didn't like being manipulated. He had plans of his own. He sabotaged the Mancers' little science project, set it to blow up in their faces. Imagine how Ven must have felt when they finally made him pull that trigger. But remember, the Bastion can fix everything. We just need that shard. It's too bad the ain't exactly been willing to collaborate on that front. Kid had little choice but to pick up where the Calamity left off. First things first, though. There's someone we figured needed rescuing. See ya. The Ura fell back, no doubt planning the next move, but we knew ours already. We talk a little here and there. There's something we had to do before going after that last shard. Well, now it's personal, ain't it? It's personal for him, and it's personal for me. They never saw him coming. He gets his hands on the care package I sent him. It's a little something I've been fixing up in my spare time. Found a way to keep the Calamity from spreading through Sultan's Hollow. Kid has to put a damper on their plans. They got their own security and everything. Pretty fancy even. Still, they ain't used to having visitors around. Break enough of those things and the Calamity rocks slink back into the ground. They've got these conductors that are all what's keeping the place together. Those rocks are like tumors, the same kind the Ura planted in the Bastion. Well, the Ura must be in a panic right about now. They even sick their little rattletail heads on the kid. Those rodents are just a bump in the road. It's not the time to get reckless. By now, every Ura from here to the terminals must know he's in town. Most of the Ura's conductors are squared away in the middle of the hollow. They're easy targets. happening. They underestimated us. Had us pegged all wrong. Yes, our people caused the calamity, but here we are trying to fix it. Did the Ura really think we'd just turn around and walk away? Shame the opportunity for civilized discourse is over. Suppose old Zolf should have got to know us better. Maybe I should have trusted him. Told him everything I knew. As the hour grows desperate, the Ura bring out their big guns. Zolf, the Ura, they have every reason to be angry. Beyond angry. But when this is all over, it'll all be water under the bridge. There's nothing standing in his way no more. He sees the Tazzle terminals loom large on the horizon. way out there on the edge of the world. That's where he finally finds you. But it ain't like Prosper Bluff this time. Ain't nothing for this gal to sing about now. Zia, you weren't kidnapped. No, ma'am. You just had to see what happened to the Ura. To your own people. You had to see if everything Zolf wrote to you was true. Sure you didn't drop that twangy thing on purpose? Just to see if he'd go after you? They lost everything, didn't they? But they just keep on fighting like that's gonna bring it all back. I don't need to see what happened to the Ura. I'm trying to undo it, remember? First step to learning the Calamity Cannon is knowing about the machinery overrides. Toughest thing about using that gas can is keeping a grip on it. Now, who would have taught a kid to do a thing like that? No matter what he's gonna face out there, it'll burn. All the pieces now, but still looking good. Once the kid gets that last shard from Zolf, it'll all be over. Think the gods are gonna help? He ain't big on small talk. can't hear him at all anymore. He's too far away. But he'll be all right. The calamity hit the Tazzle terminals hardest of all. Just needs to get that shard from Zolf and come on home. You know why Zolf went back there. The place was his home. All his old friends and family were there. Zolf must be there all alone, just waiting. You know what's funny? Are waiting for a kid. Look around. There's not much left to do here at Bastion, I'm afraid. So why not tell each other stories to pass the time, right? There's another reason I've been telling you all this. There's something I want you to understand. When the kid brings back that shard, the Bastion will be complete. What happens to Zolf will no longer matter. This disease the Arab planet here will go away. Zealandia will be whole again. Everything will be back to normal. Everyone will be all right. Problem is, we'll all be gone. Oh, we're not gonna die. It's more like all of this will just stop. the way they used to be. That's the power of the Bastion. This whole place is a living record of the times before the calamity. Come on, keep your chin up. Be your old self again. Think of all those times that didn't go your way. Imagine if you could have another go at him. No mistakes. Anyone you've ever heard. Everything you've ever done, you could do it over. Wouldn't that be grand? Wouldn't you agree? Well, I guess there's nothing more to say.
Ratigas. Marasito. Sola. Ratigas.
Who am I kidding? Look. There's something else. A confession. How come I know so much about the Bastion? You follow me? Well, I designed the place, but that's beside the point. There's one problem with a place that sets things back to a bygone time. You can't test it. So you're probably wondering if the calamity happened already. What's to stop it from happening again after the Bastion does its thing? The answer is... I don't know. You're wondering if there ain't some other way out of this mess. It's all right. I can tell. But why would you even want another way? Unless you wanted to stay here with us. Well, that's sweet and all, but I don't know if I can stick around. The weight of the calamity. It's on our shoulders. We can't just let it go. Bastion does have another function, strictly speaking. If ever the monument blew out, and we couldn't repair it, we could still evacuate. First, we'd round up as many folks as we could carry. Next, we'd detonate the cores, and we'd take off away from here. Heavy, ain't it? You know, Zolf and his countrymen won't be giving up that shard without a fight, don't you? Zolf and the Ura, all they want now is to see the Bastion fall. Zolf dedicated his life to lasting peace between the Ura and Caelondia. He can't have imagined the city would try to wipe the Ura out. Zolf ain't lost every shred of decency though, has he? He tried to warn you about his plans. He tried to warn the kid. For Zolf, this ain't a personal matter. kid followed Zolf all the way home. I can see it now. The kid in one corner, and Zolf in the other. Ain't much of a fight. Don't you worry, though. Once the Bastion's restored, it'll all be alright. You ain't still thinking about that whole leaving the city thing, are you?
I set my sail, fly the wind, it will take me back to my home, sweet home. Lie on my back, clouds are making way for me. I'm coming home, sweet home. I see your star, you left it burning for me. Mother, I'm here. Eyes open wide.
Kid's probably dealt with Zolf by now.
Heart and it's glowing.
It reminds me of myself when I was his age. I ever tell you about those days? Hey, kid. Get up, kid. Come on, that ain't funny. I say get up. That's more like it. Now, set that shard into the monument there. Then we'll talk. The Bastion. It's finally finished. Now, there's something I want you to see. Welcome to the heart of the Bastion. I ain't one for long goodbyes, so here's the deal. Zia and I figure you done the heavy lifting, so you get to do the honors. We can tell you how to work this thing if you got any questions.
You made it. So, let's see. You can either prevent the calamity, or stick around with me and Rex. I'd hate to be in your shoes. If I could be any place I wanted, I'd stay right here. We could go anywhere in the world. Zolf tried to talk me into joining him. I tried to talk him out of it. I guess we both failed. When I finally found my people, I told them we could help. They just took me for a traitor. Glad you showed up. Any moment I'd want to live again happened after the calamity, not before.
Hey, kid. You can undo the calamity here and now. Go on, kid. And before I forget, thank you. Always wondered what the motherland was like. Not that it matters anymore. Zolf only brought more ruin to the Ura. No wonder they didn't take kindly to him. You've got one thing left to do, so you hang on to that badge. Besides, you earned it. Don't let anything you've done get to you. You can save all those creatures here and now. Here I figured you'd had enough of me by now. You could have undone the calamity itself, but instead you want to stay in a world like this. I gotta admit, kid, I ain't yet put much thought in that idea, but carrying on with you here. Can't go back no more, but I suppose we could go wherever we please. And if anyone's left out there, I sure would like to see the look in their faces when we dock this thing right on their doorstep. Getting ahead of myself, though. I'm gonna need a first mate. What do you say?
I set my sail, fly the wind, it will take me back to my home, sweet home. Lie on my back, climb to make it wait for me. I'm coming home. Sweet
Bye.